So you are a music artist and you are looking for a way to successfully collaborate with other music artists? Well, this video is for you. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how you can absolutely crush it in every single collaboration that you ever have with other music artists. And spoiler alert, it's boiled down to 3 primary tips. Make sure you stay all the way till the end so that you don't miss out on any of this super valuable information that it's taken me at least 10 years to come across. What's up everybody? For those of you who are new here, my name is Daniel with iosoundstudio.com, where we make music for people all over the world. My personal goal is to impact the world with music and to inspire and teach other people to do the very same thing. So you might be wondering, why does this even matter? What is so important about collaboration? Well, let me tell you. For a little bit of context, I'm a music producer and have been producing music for about 12 years, and currently I live a couple hours away from Nashville, and one thing that I highly prioritize is regularly going to Nashville and meeting people face to face, other producers, other artists, other mixing engineers, and session musicians, etc. And from firsthand experience, I can absolutely tell you that collaboration is the lifeblood of the music industry. Whether you realize it or not, the music industry is actually extremely small. It is both an industry that covers the entire world, and it is an industry that feels extremely intimate and close-knit. Having the right connections and making the right collaborations are honestly one of the things that are going to get you into the room with big people or not, with bigger artists or not, with record labels or not. And so it is an extremely important thing to prioritize. The music industry is not something to be done in isolation. In fact, it is something that you can only really succeed in if you are intentional about building good relationships. So with that being said, let's talk about how to successfully collaborate with other music artists the best that you possibly can. Very first, you have to have clear communication. Now at this point, I really cannot overstate, because this is the framework on which you guys can have the same exact expectations for the project that you guys are going through together. So before you guys actually jump into a project together, make sure you discuss the overall creative direction and the vision for the project at the very beginning. You also want to make sure that you are extremely intentional about setting very clear deadlines and very clear timelines as well. You want to make sure that you are explicit about the specific roles that each of you guys are going to have in the project. For example, who is going to produce the demo? Who is even maybe going to be in charge of finding a producer to help you guys with the demo if neither of you produces? Who is going to sing what part of the song? Who is going to play what instrument on the song? Are you guys going to have external collaborators, etc.? And once you kind of have all of these fundamental things figured out, you also want to make sure that you agree on the final product and how it is that you're going to actually push this final product to the audience in the end. What is your advertising gonna look like, for example? Are you going to run an ad campaign through Facebook? Are you gonna use something like playlist push? What are you gonna do? And what's your budget to actually get it done? Hey, if you're enjoying this content, I really would appreciate it if you go ahead and hit the subscribe button below and leave a like and share it with a friend that you think could benefit from it. Also, if you want to support me more directly, you can check out my Patreon, which is linked below. I give other kinds of advice like this, and I also post full clips of my own production breakdowns and production breakdowns of songs that I've worked on for other clients. And the price starts at only $4 a month, so if you're enjoying this, I highly encourage that you go there and check it out. Back to the video. The second important thing is to make sure you respect one another's creative boundaries. It's really all about mutual respect. The reality is that you were 2 different people with 2 different tastes in music, and ultimately 2 different perspectives on what it is you're trying to achieve and how you are going to achieve it. So within that, in the context of a song, you want to make sure that you're intentional about giving each other space, whether that is 2 people on the project, 3 people on the project, or more. You want to make sure that you're giving each other enough space so that each of you can individually express and explore your own creative style and your unique tastes in the music. Now, of course, some of these ideas are likely going to clash, and that's where good communication comes in, and that's where you guys kind of compromise these things through. You also want to make sure that you listen to and consider everybody's idea. This can't be one person making all the suggestions and forcing everybody else to comply with their suggestions, or else this collaboration is simply not going to work. And again, recognize when you have to compromise. The reality is that with any relationship or with any team involved project, there's going to have to be compromise. So figure out when it is appropriate to compromise and when it's kind of important to stand your ground and to really try to pursue your idea. Of course, don't be obnoxious. You want these people to work with you, again, most likely. And you definitely want to maintain as many good relationships as you can in the music industry. Point number 3, and this is also super important. This is probably actually the most important as far as collaborations go. And that is, make sure that you handle business first. Now, of course, business can kind of be a drag. Contracts and all of those kinds of things can kind of be a downer and make it seem too serious. But the reality is that even though we are artists, even though you are artists, you have to prioritize the business side of music artistry. You don't want to be screwed, you don't want to be taken advantage of, and ultimately you don't want to miss out on what may rightfully be yours in the end. So, practically, this looks like agreeing on revenue share for the song. How are you guys going to actually split royalties? Make sure you guys put every single thing in writing before you ever begin writing the song. Figure out your songwriter splits and make sure to use a tool like a split sheet. You can find them online and download them, but make sure you guys are clear about how you're going to actually divvy out the contribution of the project from each of you. What I personally recommend is that you split it evenly between all of the different songwriters and the different collaborators. That way it's a little bit easier to keep track of who is kind of doing what. It gets a little bit confusing if you say, hey Bob, you only contributed 4 words to this verse, and Tyler, you contributed 5 words to the chorus, but I wrote the whole bridge. It gets kind of confusing when you do it that way. So I would recommend just personally splitting out everything evenly as far as songwriting goes. Now that being said, if someone is completely dragging the rest of the team down and they're really not contributing, then I would kind of have a strong heart-to-heart with that person and say, hey, like, you gotta get it together. We're a team, we're trying to get through this together, and you gotta contribute or else you're not gonna get a portion of the revenue. And also discuss credit attribution in the early stages as well. How are each of you gonna get credit for the song and the songwriting? Where are you gonna put each other's credits, etc. And lastly with that, again, you wanna make sure that you have a clear plan on how you want to promote the music together after the fact as well. You don't want all the promotion to fall on the shoulders of one person because then it becomes a burden for them and it's not as fun overall. So make sure you're intentional about these things. Make sure you think these 3 things through. Make sure you follow these 3 steps in your collaboration. And if you do, I guarantee that not only is the collaboration process going to be more fun, but all of your bases are going to be covered. Nobody's going to be screwed in the end. And frankly, more people are going to want to collaborate with you in the future as well. And remember, truly, really good collaborations can open up so many doors for you. They can truly take your music and your platform and all of your platforms to new heights as you collaborate and work together. If you focus and apply these 3 things, it's really going to take your collaborations to the next level, and it's going to help you all grow together mutually. And I promise you, before you even realize, you're going to start getting into rooms with people that you never thought you would have gotten the chance to meet. So be intentional, have fun with your songwriting, have fun with your collaborations, and I will see you again very soon with another video.